So let's just settle into our meditation posture. Something, oh, what am I doing here? Messing around with the screen. There we are. And as we just turn ourselves inwards, so we're kind of outward going all day long, communicating with people, working, really in a way trying to do the very best we can. So now is a time for us to sort of enter into some period of reflection and focusing inwards and just giving this time to ourselves. So feet flat on the floor if you are sitting on your chair. Knees are hips width apart, and just be sitting on top of your sits bones, shoulders aligned with the hips, and imagine your spine is that string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. And just imagine you're lengthening your spine. Just imagine putting some space in between your vertebrae. They say particularly as we get older, the more we walk around during the day, it just kind of reduces the amount of space in between in those discs, or just kind of gets squashed down. So just imagine yourself putting some air there, lengthening. Just relax the crown of the head, scalp, the forehead, the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the mouth, back of the head. Just release the temples, the ears, the inner ear, the jaw, back of the tongue, mouth. Relax the back of the neck and the shoulders. Just drop them down, shoulder blades drop down. Relax the throat and the chest and the belly. Just let all the limbs go. Except don't collapse. Just keep yourself nice and alert. Notice the sensation of the air as you're inhaling and exhaling. And be aware of sounds in your environment. And what is your mind doing with those sounds? Just notice it wants to go off and investigate. So try not to allow the mind to investigate. Just let the sounds be, let them do their own thing. Unless, of course, it's an emergency. But generally it's people, pets. And then notice what thoughts are coming up for you this evening. And try not to criticize them. Make sure that perhaps your thoughts are based in reality. Perhaps you can categorize your thoughts. Planning. Remembering. Notice what's there and observe without judgment. We can put ourselves on the bank of our river, just watch it flow on by. And just notice that while we're sitting there, we're free on that river. So remembering people of our life, our loved ones. And there's those people in our life who we find somewhat irritating, and then there's our strangers. Keep in mind constantly they can change place at any time. And then remember they're all equal in their wish to be happy and their wish to be free from suffering, and in having this extraordinary capacity of Buddhahood. So we'll do this practice of Vajrasattva in the context of the 4 opponent powers. And the first of these is regret. So I think I'll sincerely regret from the depths of my heart having harmed any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of my past lives. And you can think of specific actions of both your body and your speech. And sometimes we had these kind of conscious actions of, killing snails or ants or fleas, thinking that we're doing the right thing. Actually, we were killing. And each one of those individual animals, no matter how tiny they are, that's still a life, a mind stream that wants to live. Even if they only have the karma to live a day, some of these insects don't live more than about a day or two. They have a right to be here, and they have a job that they do when they're here. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma, and we experience everything due to our past karma, past actions. And so having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. We cannot bear the thought of this future suffering that we ourselves will experience. And we know from our present suffering, we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest of the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance, and we rely upon, we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor rather than a higher power. So here we have our Vajrasattva. So imagine this Buddha is made of light, sitting above the crown of your head, facing the same way as you. You can also imagine this is your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. He's sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion, and has this beautiful smiling face, no critical thought, just accepting you exactly as you are, turning up this evening. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion, and their being crossed represents the union of these two, which symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So this little section on compassion. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, and the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you may have harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we've ever harmed since beginning this time. And just develop a wish for them to be free from suffering. And then think about all those beings who have harmed us, and they will suffer as a result of the harm they've done to you. So have a strong wish for them to be free from suffering. So now we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the medicine, doing this practice of mantra recitation and visualization. So we start with the body, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar like coming out of a hose quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid, and this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa anorakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata hompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anorakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata hompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anorakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata hompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa anorakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata hompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa anorakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata hompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anorakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata hompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anorakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of your speech, and Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top part of the body all the negativity of your speech. And this overflows quite powerfully and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just imagine that all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs, all of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa anorakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata hompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anorakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata hompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida meboa, Sutokaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa, Sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me, Sitam Shiam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Humpe Ambadra Sapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajra Sapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Humpe and Vajrasapta Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapta Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Humpe and Vajrasapta Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapta Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shiam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe ambajrasapta samaya manupalaya vajrasapta dina patita dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anorakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shiam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech. And next is the purification of the mind, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So just the same as when you walk into your pitch black room and then you flick on the switch, that light dispels the darkness. So we think of, when we go into a room, we think we're just turning the light on, but actually we're dispelling darkness. So the same here, the moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of our mind, so all our attachment, neediness, bitterness, grudges, depression, anxiety, jealousy, all instantly dispelled, not one atom left. Vajrasapta samaya manupalaya Vajrasapta dina patita dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anorakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shiam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe Vajrasapta samaya manupalaya Vajrasapta dina patita dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anorakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shiam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe Vajrasapta samaya manupalaya Vajrasapta dina patita dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anorakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shiam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan Sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe Vajrasapta samaya manupalaya Vajrasapta dina patita dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anorakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shiam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe Vajrasapta samaya manupalaya Vajrasapta dina patita dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anorakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shiam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe Vajrasapta samaya manupalaya Vajrasapta dina patita dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anorakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shiam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. So just imagine, be delighted, all your delusions which are the source of all of our own suffering. And the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech are completely purified. And now imagine there's no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And this time imagine Vajrasattva very happily sends light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of this negative energy from the mind. Just a very, 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 very subtle. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimbi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahompe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahompe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahompe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahompe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahompe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahompe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahompe. So now feel you are completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve, and this is the final step in the purification process, and a crucial one, which is this decision we make to not harm with our body and our speech and our mind again. And without this, without deciding something, it's never going to happen. So we keep doing the same old things over and over again unless we make a decision that we don't want to do them. So it becomes like a beacon that guides our body and our speech and our mind in new directions. So think carefully and then decide to refrain from these things that you know are harmful or that people have told you are harmful for maybe a day or even 5 seconds, a week, whatever it is you can manage. But stick to the timeline you set yourself. And this determination to refrain, to try and not do again, is what gives us the strength to change. And Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind. He melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my Guru's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next, Rinpoche would recommend to meditate on that, on emptiness. So in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while, and we can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. You can also think the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy we've created doing this practice this evening to all living beings. Think particularly of Hin. Send her lots of love, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And so then a very strong wish for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to live long, and for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche, the unmistaken reincarnation is how they say it. And then for your own teachers, people you're learning things from, particularly your Dharma teachers. Anyway, good evening, everyone. Lots of love. I'll think about what we're going to do tomorrow. Let's see who turns up. Okay.
Thank you, Venerable.
Lots of love, everybody. Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.